now begin. The following lesson, students were settled and engaged in the learning. Another mentor helped me to make sense of that moment by sighing and looking at the engineering major. Teaching is not a science, Nadeen. Realizing I could not manipulate people as I could formulas in an equation, I began to build bridges between the world of school, their world, and mine. This revelation transformed my whole approach to teaching. I began to engage with student voice to gauge how students felt about their learning and my teaching for their understanding. I would adjust according to their feedback, keeping our quarter-wise strands tight. It was through student voice that I discovered theirs and soon to be my biggest opponent to growth, low self-efficacy. I coined it the elephant in the room. Having established strategies that help my students learn, witnessing their ability to demonstrate key skills, they would still not feel confident going into an assessment or freak out when they saw questions in the test. Low self-efficacy seemed to trump most interventions as if it was a default position of safety. At a morning briefing, our principal asked staff, "Why is achievement important?" Automatically, I mentally replied, "So that students will become confident and therefore feel they can do anything." The act of building bridges between the two worlds had morphed my philosophy of teaching. I didn't realize it at the time, but this was the same question asked by my mentor during my Year 9 dilemmas. My original response was so they would get a pat on the back. My new response was so they would smash barriers to be unleashed. My pedagogy is influenced by the development of self-efficacy. My methodical analysis has found strength in conjuring ways to go about problem solving in maths. Aware of my capital, I have realized my way is not the only way. Engaging their capital, I'm constantly adapting to teach for understanding whilst maintaining our quarter-wise strands. Commissioned to take down my opponent of low self-efficacy, I have not been able to do this alone. The notion of people being at the centre of teaching and learning holds true amongst colleagues. In respect of the capital they possess, I have had to embrace humility and patience to restrain my tenacious zeal. Their wisdom and collaboration has made interventions effective and processing efficient. The battle against low self-efficacy is one not fought alone. I have joined the front line in my school against inequality, the debatable breeder of low self-efficacy. Within the trenches, unfortunately, weariness, cynicism, pessimism, and rigidness have crept in and dampened the forward charge in some. Since most of my students entered the classroom having developed low self-efficacy, I've had to oar my away from the bed. In other words, intentionally taking ownership, A, accountability, and R, responsibility for performance and dilemmas, rather than B, blame, E, excuses, and D, denial. The inquiring mind is what keeps teaching a profession. We are implored to explore the dynamics within the classroom to enable young people to be confident, connected, and actively involved lifelong learners. That is the vision we as professionals have signed up to. I fear stagnation. I fear the day my bed becomes more comfortable than rowing my oar. I fear exhausted efforts, lack of appreciation, and performance will overwhelm me and steal my joy. So like every profession, there is a time to work and a time to rest. I must take care of this teacher behind the philosophy. So where does this platform of accumulated knowledge position me to act? Back in the classroom, of course, on the front line, enriched and equipped to tackle low self-efficacy once again. When I think about the difference I feel I have made over the last few years, I think about the changes in my students, self and colleagues. My development as a teacher, the improved engagement of my students is attributed to student voice. When working with colleagues to problem solve matters, before we even begin thinking of the solution, we gather voice and hear what our students feel the problem is and their potential solution. Student voice is not a new phenomenon, nor has it never been used in the school since I arrived on the scene. As a tool, I feel we now know its use, not to pry on teacher performance or build ego, but to always gauge the notion of ako, the interaction between teaching and learning. 2015. I enter new waters, taking on the role of director of the Health Science Academy. At Tangaro College, I was apprehensive about the challenge of overseeing a small year 11, 12 and 13 cohort while still trying to achieve quality teaching. The Health Science Academy, established by the County's Manukau District Health Board and funded by the Tyndall Foundation, provides academic and pastoral support for students who desire to pursue a health science career. Advice from a fellow colleague helped provide perspective. Remember, in this leadership role, you are a teacher first. The encouragement turned on a light bulb. The same leadership principles and methods we've applied within the classroom can be applied in this role. A key point of difference was that I could utilise the leadership with tutor teachers involved. Together we tracked student progress. Together we identified problems, gathered student voice and solved these problems with our students. Collaborating with my tutor teachers made me realise leading for impact cannot be achieved alone. Impact comes with a response tailored to the many voices heard. I was grateful to be part of a team who valued the same truth and were willing to paddle in the same direction for change. A few weeks ago, we celebrated the efforts of our students at an end-of-year dinner. In our small hall, we managed to fit approximately 120 students and parents. We acknowledged student achievement and character that attributed to their efforts this year. But the key acknowledgement was to our parents. We asked them to support our initiatives, we asked them to have their children at school on time, and we asked them to encourage their children on this journey. The dinner was to thank them. Our students, first teachers, the connecting strand in the ako relationship. They too are on the front line in our school against inequality. My desire to unleash potential through education finds its origins in the aspirations of Pacific grandparents migrating to New Zealand for a better future. I wonder now, upon the scope of their intention, did they just mean for me to better myself? Or did they foresee the struggle we would face in this new land and implore me to make the future better? As they had crossed seas to better my future, so I crossed bridges to better another. See, I always thought they meant go get a job, make some money, and be happy. But I realise now they did not sacrifice for the gain of capital. They sacrificed because they valued people. A truth in Aotearoa, a truth in the Pacific, a universal truth. He aha te mea nui a te ao. He tangata, he tangata, he tangata. What is the most important thing in the world and in the classroom? It is people.